From the Marquee Media Studio inside Mark Tank, it's the Mark Haney Show.
Yes, this is the Mark Haney Show. Today is going to be a fun show. We're on a mission to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution right here in the hometown we love. And today we are going to take a step forward on that mission. We are going to be sharing the story of Derrek Holland. He is the closet doctor. We're going to get into a little bit about his business, what his secret sauce is. I mean, let's face it, we all need to have a competitive advantage if we want to win in anything in business and in life. And here at Haney Biz, the Mark Haney Show at the Growth Factory, we're building the backyard advantage, the most connected community in the world for local entrepreneurs based upon this culture of love. And so that's what this is my buddy Derrek is coming on to show some love to the other small business, medium-sized businesses around Sacramento. His story will inspire you, hopefully give you a little bit of education. And either way, we're going to have some fun talking to Derrek. He is the closet doctor. Derrek, how you doing? And do people just call you the doctor? I mean, do they give you like a nickname?
I've heard it all. No, thanks for having me on, and it's great to be here. They call me. You can call me anything you want. Don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah.
That's my.
Well,
mantra.
I mean, I think the closet doctor. It's a catchy name. It makes you think. It gets your attention. But maybe we can just start by giving an overview of the organization, and then maybe we talk a little bit about your journey into entrepreneurship.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, so I've been in this industry, closet organizers, garage cabinets, home offices, home organization and storage. Been in it for almost 31 years now. So
wow.
We started in college and here in the Sacramento area since 1998. And so small company, not at times we've been up to 15, 18 employees. Right now we're about 10 employees. We're right-sized right now for what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. And so you've been doing it forever. So were you in construction prior? Because when you manufacture a cabinet, it's kind of like a construction type project.
It is a construction project, home improvement project. I've always been a fix-it guy, do my own type of stuff. I like the creativity side of building things. This is how it came. Here's how growing up, I had 3 sisters, and we moved a couple of times, and I always got the crappy room in the house. And so I grew up and from 6th grade through high school, I had like a utility room was my bedroom. I had a hot water heater closet with a spongy closet rod above it and a 3-drawer dresser. That was my...
Okay, so since you had basically you were living in a closet, and then you needed to put away your clothes and get everything organized.
So probably about 87, 88, I walked into the kitchen. There was a home improvement and remodeling magazine on the counter, and it was open, and there was a little tiny business card size ad in there with a drawn-in picture of closet organizers. So that'd be really cool. And so that was where the first seed came from. And then when I got into college, my cousin knew a guy that had worked at a big company and was running kind of his own little deal, and so I started installing with him, and about 6 months later I was running my own little shop in Provo, Utah.
Oh wow.
And so it just kind of happened.
You grew up here though.
I grew up here in Lincoln, moved back here in 97 with my wife Lisa. And it was kind of good timing. We've done a lot of work over the years in 55 and above communities, and they were just breaking ground on Del Webb in Lincoln.
Well, I'm a 55 and up community myself these days. Actually, I've got some young people in my neighborhood, but we'll talk about my place in a second. So I want to get into your journey, but we will share the story about some of the work that you've done for me, and then some of your where we've brought out your creative side to get something looking really trick. So you kind of handy, and you basically work for somebody. After 6 months, you said, I could do this myself.
It was probably shorter than that.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't that hard. You asked about experience. I was washing dishes in a restaurant and cooking in a restaurant when I was 15, 16. Learned how to work in a fast-paced environment there. My uncle is a concrete guy, and so I shoveled rock and dirt and all of that, and knew that I didn't want to do that.
This is easier work than concrete. I own a concrete company, and I see how hard these guys work. Oh, Well, you guys work hard too,
We
but
work
this
hard
like
too, but-
it's heavy back-breaking type of stuff.
Heavy backbreaking outside, hot, windy, wet, whatever. Yeah. Not for me.
Yeah.
I always wanted. I'm unemployable.
Yeah.
I don't work well with others. That's just a thing.
Why go into entrepreneurship? Because I don't work well with other people.
When we moved back here, I was just going to get a job, and I didn't really have any skills because I hadn't really worked anywhere. I dropped out of college, so I didn't have a piece of paper that said I was smart, and I got a sales job for a home improvement company, and the best term I can think of it, they were slimy. Like 15 minutes into the sales training, I knew this wasn't the job for me, but I needed a job, and that's that I learned a lot there. One is you got to treat people right. Customer who signs your check ultimately, no matter what you're doing. And so when I left there, I learned that people like to get jobs done. They hate typical home improvement, and so that was one of my focus. Treat them right. For years, I didn't even have a contract. I do deals on a handshake, $3,000-$5,000 deals on a handshake. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. We'll be here next Tuesday. Just pay me when we're done. No money down, handshake. And I've since added employees and things like that, and the written contract has become necessary. But is what I learned at working at that company, as bad as they were, I learned that if you had a good sales program that people would buy, their downside that they had there was at the start of the internet. I closed at probably a 60% high pressure close in-home sales situation, which was really, really good. The bad news was at the start of the internet, people could, at the time, I don't know whether you're Googling what you were doing, but they could, check the Better Business Bureau, make a phone call and find out that these guys weren't the best guys in town. So I had about a 60% cancellation rate.
Oh, and well, they're giving you that hard close of sales process. I haven't felt, I bought some cabinets from you, and of course we're friends, but I've never felt anything like that. In fact, or from that, or going over to your showroom, I've never feel that way. So you sort of dropped that approach when you started your own thing.
I learned that if you had a plan that people would buy, and they would stay with you if it was a good, solid plan. And so my approach to sales in this industry is that you've got a problem, I have a solution, and we just need to work together to work out the details of design, color, price that's going to work out. I need to do the job just like you need the job done. And I look at it, if I go to your home and show you, I point out some of the issues that you've got, and I show you some options, and I leave there and you don't buy, I've left you in a worse state than when I came, because now you know your problems and I haven't solved them.
Who are the big competitors in this kind of world? Are they small companies like you, where you're dealing with the owner on site, or is there a larger? Am I buying it from Home Depot? Who do you see as like the big competition?
There's a couple of big major players. So California Closets are kind of the original people in the business to make it known. They were originally a franchise model, and they've bought most of their stuff back, and so they're now a corporate store. They put a lot of money into marketing, and they do some really, really nice fancy stuff. And then there's a couple other big names, and then there's a lot of other people like me that are small mom and pops, 5 to 20 employees, knocking stuff out.
It's interesting because I think, especially since starting this show, but I think I've always been the type of person that I want to buy local. I like to buy from small business. It's really more it's more interesting for me to make a purchase from somebody where I'm going to know the owner, and I might even know him afterwards. Those kind of relationships to me are more rewarding than just, because I'm getting targeted. I must have searched for garage cabinets or something one day, or saw an ad and clicked, and now I'm targeted like crazy on Instagram and all these other social medias. Now they think I still want cabinets, I guess. So, yeah. but these guys are coming after me. They're not people I know, so I would never buy like that. But it does give you, it creates ideas for you.
And that's, I've used that as my sales approach in the past has always been I offer a lifetime warranty on materials and workmanship, to put people at ease. Like if you want to invite me over for a barbecue when we're done with this, that's great. I don't ever want to come back and fix your stuff. And so I do a nice job the first time.
How do you get away with a lifetime warranty on the materials? Because you'd think like, don't cabinets wear out and stuff, the hinges break or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's, there's an asterisk next to that.
Okay.
Abuse doesn't count for it.
Okay, yeah. You put your hand through the wall because you're mad at somebody or not through the cabinet.
If in your garage, if you've got problems down the road with a door on your cabinet and it's something that we did, I'll come and take care of it. And if you drive into it with your car, I'll come and take care of it, and you'll pay for it.
That's awesome. Well, that's what you expect to happen. I mean, it's just fair. So how do you get clients then? So the sales process, you talked about that. Is it you go face to face? Like you came out and visited me, but I know you also have a showroom. What's sort of the ratio in terms of like how often you go out there to make a sales call or they come into your office?
So most of our projects, we're going to see the client. We're going to go see the client's space at some point. Most of the time, probably 80% of our stuff, we go out and we're going to meet you at your home, walk the space, measure things up, talk to you about what you want to do and put a design together for you right there. Just before I came over here, I had somebody that called and they had a wall bed from a competitor that they installed 10 years ago that broke, that they couldn't get fixed. And they just came into the showroom and I spent about 30 minutes with them and they walked out and we'll be delivering a wall bed to them in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so the showroom's got a pretty good value. At first I was going to say, well, why do you even have the showroom? Well, that's a good example.
So industry-wide, showrooms, I think about 75% of the companies out there have got showrooms now. And it's what we find with the showroom is it's a two-edged sword. When you're on a with somebody and you're in their home and they're ready to go and they say, well, hey, do you have a showroom? It slows down the sales process because they say yes. And so, okay, well, we'll come check everything out of the showroom. So it kind of slows that process down. The flip side is when they come into the showroom, they generally spend more money.
Oh, okay. So maybe there's a combo effort. They get them in the showroom, spend some money, then I'll go out and measure, and maybe there's even something else that you'll notice that's that they forgot about.
Yeah, your project's a great example, and I don't know where you want to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about it right now. So
you came in, and what you were familiar with as a product, you were looking for garage cabinets, and I know how you didn't want to. I think the word you used, I didn't want to be pretentious, and so you just wanted the basic white garage cabinets with black edges on it.
Right. I wanted something nice, but yeah, pretentious I think is a good word. Let me not be like show off guy.
But you kept walking over to the high gloss cabinets, the high gloss red cabinets
at your location.
Yeah, my showroom. Yeah.
You noticed that. I like the way these look, but it's a little fancy.
Yeah. So, and it was great that you brought your wife along and she made that decision for you. Just get the nice ones. And so, and it came out beautiful.
And so anybody that's listening, you can tell I recently built a house. We're building a family compound, but I had bought some cabinets from you. One of the things that stood out to me, I'll get back to my current project, but stood out to me, and didn't surprise me, but it was, I overpaid accidentally for my last garage cabinets, the ones that I put. It's now that house is now a rental. We moved those garage cabinets over to my daughter. I gave them to my daughter because they were in great shape, and the rental didn't need them. But I overpaid accidentally. Like I don't know. One of my teammates did a check for me, and we wrote the check twice. And you're like, "Hey, Mark, you sent me too much money. You sent me back like $1,000 or something like that." And it was like, you know what? I would have never caught that. And yet, you're doing the right thing. And you'd already given me, I think, $1,000 off the camera or the cabinets or more. So
I gave you a great deal. No, that's I gotta be able to sleep at night. We had a client one time that accused my installers of stealing $7,000 out of a box in their closet. And I went and talked to my guy, and I knew him, and the guy was like, well, he was building a house. He goes, well, 6 months ago I put $30,000 in there, and then I went in the other day to pay for something, and I didn't have what I thought I had in there. That was his.
That's his proof.
That was his proof. And I said, well, I'm going to go talk to this guy. And so this employee, I talked to him, and he goes, and I knew he was solid. And he goes, my integrity's not worth $7,000. And so, and I feel the same way. If you overpaid by $1,000, I don't need that $1,000. That $1,000 is not going to change my life one bit as far as finances go. But I can't get my integrity back of keeping that. So I've always, one of the things, I never wanted my kids to run into one of my clients in the grocery store and they say, "Oh, Derrek Holland's your dad." and have them have to wonder whether they have a great experience or did they have a bad experience with me. And so I've always been, as a business owner, I think I've never, if there's ever a question with clients or employees, always do the right thing.
It's interesting because nobody, I don't want to say people don't do the right thing, but it's pretty uncommon. I don't remember getting money back like that. And maybe my guys, my team is good at not overpaying. Hopefully they are. Maybe it's never happened before. But it's pretty gratifying when it happens. And I think I went out and got myself something cold to drink that night with that $1,000 for a few weeks there, a few months. That was really found money, so that was really cool. Okay, let's talk about my project. So I'm building this family compound, and then my kids live out there. The 9 grandkids live out there. So my wife and I got to get a house. We're empty nesters, so you end up with this. I've got a 2-bedroom house, but what do you do in terms of cabinets for the closets and pantry? What do you do for the garage? We already had other cabinets going in. You kind of came out there and said, here's some ideas.
Yeah.
What did you see when you saw, besides me in the showroom gravitating toward the bright red cabinets for my garage, what else did you notice about our project?
Well, one of the things that people want to do is they want to do. I'll show up and they're like, I want garage cabinets on this wall, this wall, this wall, and over here and everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? I'm looking at your stuff. We can put a lot in here. And so I like it. I'm a cabinet maker and I'm in sales. So I should want to sell as much as I can. But I want to do what's right for the customer. And I want it to solve their problem. And I want it to be aesthetically pleasing in the end. Now, for some people, aesthetically pleasing means that the cabinets have doors on it and they can hide they just don't see their stuff. Garages are, my idea on garages is that you're not going to have everything perfectly organized behind those doors. But when you drive in, you come home at the end of a long day's work or a long drive and the garage door goes up, that you go, dang, this garage looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you don't see all that mess that might be behind those doors. In your closet or in, the pantry we did for you, that one's a little different. You've got organization. You want certain things that need to be in certain places, and you want it to function and be organized. The garage is a little different. It's like I just want to cover some of that stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not naturally organized. That's you wouldn't know that, but
I would say I'm the same way. But it's interesting, and somebody who might be listening out there who's thinking about they might move into their forever home. Because to me, I'm like, hey, I'm always moving and shaking. This isn't my last business. I'm going to be doing. I'm not getting that old. Come on, man. And then when we moved into this house, because it's a family compound, we knew we were never going to leave.
You're not leaving
and
there.
So it was really an interesting thing to say, okay, I'm going to organize this thing for life. What do I do? So as we designed the house and even the garage, it's like, we want to design this because I'm never going to move. So let's take our time and do it right so that I have this thing that I call step minimization. So I want to take less steps.
Yep.
So as soon as you pull in the garage, I got the place where I put my keys. I got the place where I do this. I circle right around. I go into our closet. So I drop off my stuff. My last house, it was one of those long, skinny houses. I was running from one side of the house to the other. Take me a half hour to get from where I want. Now I'm like, everything's condensed. And I have to imagine you see the way people should live or live so that they're not wasting time. And so you can help sort of assess that and get the right cabinets. Like in our house, or our garage, you created, I don't know what you call those things where you basically put hooks on the wall, but you make it look really sharp.
Kind of a little hutch, or what do you call that? I got a name for it, and it's completely
What
gone.
about those slat boards that are on the side? They're black slat boards, and you can hang, let's say, a ladder on it or
the slat
like
wall is great. It's just it's a way to organize space on a wall without taking up a whole bunch of space in the room. So a cabinet, we're going to build a cabinet 24 inches deep so you can put stuff in it. But sometimes in your place you've got areas that you don't have that kind of space, or you just don't want that much cabinetry. And so like a ladder is a great example. You're not going to put a ladder in a cabinet. So we can put that slat wall on there, and there's different accessories and hooks to where you can still be organized.
By the way, that ladder's not for me. It's for my wife in case she has a maintenance project she's got to work on. I don't really climbing ladders. We ended up building a big garage on another place on the properties that's where I threw like all my junk, if you will, where I got to sort through it before I die so my kids aren't stuck with it. But everything in my garage is like, everything's where it's supposed to be, and it's in in these pristine red cabinets, and then the floor is we went to a garage floor place too. It needed that black floor.
That black floor. So you got the black floor with the black cabinets with their high gloss red doors, and I didn't know this until I came back to your place later on for a little follow up, and that you've got a couple of classic cars. One is black and one is red, and it I was like blown away.
It's like a photo op.
It was a photo op. We got to get back out there and get some pictures of that because it looks really good.
I love it.
No, the space optimization and saving yourself time. Like one of my things in a closet, in a master closet, I always like to put 1 or 2 sets of drawers in there. You got a place for underwear and socks. You come out of the shower in the morning, you got everything that you need to get ready for the day and leave without having to go back into the bedroom to get stuff out of the dresser and stuff like that. And the organization makes it nice so that when you come in, it feels good to be organized. And I had a guy that worked for me years ago. He pointed out that one of the first places you go in the morning and the last place you go at night is your closet in your home. And he goes, and so if you get up in the morning to stress and frustration and go to bed at night with stress and frustration, it makes life harder.
It's true. And what I would suggest too, this is kind of goes for any entrepreneur out there, a word of wisdom for like creating, I'll call it sanity in your life, is take a time, either move, but when you do, or even if you don't, get some new cabinets. It sort of forces you to pair the things from your life that you almost never use. So throw away the clothes you never wear, throw away the crap you never use, or get it out of sight, out of mind, because it takes bandwidth. Even in my gym, I did that. You guys did some work in my gym too. And it's like anything, I've got every contraption known to man to work out with or stretch or whatever. It's like get rid of all the stuff or put it in a box somewhere I'm never going to see it again, and have only the stuff that I can see visually in front of me. And it's like I get more done because I have less crap in my way.
So it's interesting you bring that up. So in business side of that, I mean, personal one too, we hang on to way too much stuff. We attach value to something, and I think it's Marie Kondo, she's the super organizer, and she says, the joy when you go and spend a day shopping for a pair of pants. I don't know who spends a day shopping for a pair of pants, but if you spend a day shopping for a pair of pants and you wore them once and paid big money for them, and then they sit on the shelf for 5 years, they just nag you. The joy happened when you wore them that one time and that you shop for them. He says, now the money's gone and the joy is gone. Give it to somebody else and let them enjoy them now. Don't leave it there to nag you. I can't believe you spent $400 on a pair of pants.
I love that. Yeah, I think there's this sunk cost bias type of thing. He's like, I spent the money. You never know, I might use it. You don't want to get that out of you, but you got to get out of your life anyway, regardless of you spent $400 on a pair of pants.
So
by the way, I've never spent that much money on a pair of pants.
I don't think I've ever spent that much money on an outfit. I take that back. I've got a sport coat that I spent $400 on one time. But, no, from a business standpoint, so in 2011, I'd been buying a couple of things from a guy, Paul Akers' company called FastCap. And he wrote a book in about 2010, 2011 called 2 Second Lean. And it's about a 1/4 inch thick. It's a Sunday afternoon read. And that changed the way I ran my business, because what he said was, clean up. Take your business, spend a little bit of time every day, and what they call 3S or 5S. Sweep, sort, and standardize. Clean up your space, get rid of stuff that you don't need, organize the things that you do, and do that on a daily basis and improve your business. And I had, as an example of hanging on to stuff, I had in that time frame, I had an area in my shop that was probably 10 by 10, that every cabinet shop's got one. It was all these doors that had been ordered the wrong color, the wrong size, the wrong whatever. But we'd paid, I think we calculated we had about 10 grand worth of stuff in that corner. And we'd clean up and we'd move it from corner to corner. We'd clean up, we get all done in the one corner, and then we'd turn around and go, okay, next month, we'll take care of that corner. And the guy next door told me a thing, and he said, if you're going to keep something that you don't have planned use for, it needs to have a value per square foot and a plan of use in 12 months. And is what I realized from that is like every square foot of my shop costs me $1 a month. So I'm paying $100 a month to store $10,000 worth of garbage. And like Marie Kondo says, the money's already been spent. There's no joy in it. And the truth is we're never going to use it because they were the wrong color, the wrong style, and they were custom. And so we started in 2011, we threw out a ton of stuff. We cut back on our inventory, the whole thing. And so we became leaner as a company. And it is so refreshing to run a business that's clean, neat, and organized.
Well, I toured your production process. So is that part of this production process you're walking through? Because you have something that's got to help with the profitability as well, that you can manufacture these things in a really systematic way.
Exactly. So Toyota is the greatest manufacturer in the world. They have what they call the Toyota Production System, or lean manufacturing. And their focus is on reducing waste in the process. The value is added in a product is like in our scenario, we buy a large piece of material. When the saw blade is cutting that material, it's adding value. But when I push it around the shop with a forklift or on a cart, there's no value. You don't want to pay for me to do extra work. You want nice cabinets. And so that we changed in 2011, we cleaned up, got organized. We changed the way that we manufactured, and then we looked at that process to reduce the waste and reduce the waste and reduce the waste. And so like a garage your size 10 years ago would have taken us 2 days to install, and we were in and out of your place in a day.
So I remember, yeah.
And we did a job the other day. The office was like, we've got this scheduled for 3 days. And on the second day by 4:00 we were leaving, and the customer was blown away because we had it scheduled, and because we've improved the process of removing the waste every time we do something, to having only the tools that we need on the cart, just only doing what we need to do, changing the order that we do it. Like now it seems ridiculous that we wouldn't have thought of this, but we now load the trailer in so that when the cabinets come off, the first cabinet that we're going to install is the first one out of the trailer. Mm-hmm. You look at it, you're going, yeah, well, that's a no-brainer. It took us 15 years to realize that. We used to bring all the cabinets in. We'd have all of these stuff in a small garage and working around it and moving stuff around. Now it comes out of the trailer, goes on the wall. The next one comes out of the trailer, goes next to it on the wall. And we've improved that process, and we do that. Our employees do that every day. We spend time on that every day, working on improving the process.
Well, that's another thing that probably is worth discussing is employees. And in the services industry, in the construction industry, great people are hard to find, I'd say. Maybe that's too strong of a way of putting it. Great people are like gold, and your team has always been super like positive and organized, and in terms of like the quality of the work is like the workmanship is fantastic. So what do you attribute the quality of your employee to?
That's a tough one. I'd like to say that I'm a great finder of talent and things. I really struggle with it, but when we find really good people, that we do whatever we can to make sure that they stay. It's a tough one. Great employees, they're working somewhere. Mm-hmm. They've already got a job, and so you don't find them in the traditional way of, you're not running an ad. The people that are looking for an ad are unemployed. The great employees, they've got a job. They're being paid really, really well. So we try to pay well. We're working on a new compensation program now to make sure that we stay at the top of the market on pay. I've found I don't have anybody that's working for me now that worked in the cabinet industry or in the closet industry before they came to work for me.
That's interesting that you say that, because I built some security companies. Now I guess I'm in venture capital, and the people that are doing this alongside me, they haven't been doing venture capital we're doing it together now through my angel investing, and we're running venture capital. But they're good people. Same with security cameras. I mean, we didn't hire, the high-priced free agent security camera sales rep. We hired my high school buddies, people that had worked in my video stores, and we learned it together and we figured it out.
We're looking for people with a great attitude that that enjoy working with their hands, and it's like, if you want to carve a solid wood mahogany statue, we're not the place for you to work. I mean, we do what we do, but we have a good time doing it. I believe in helping my people grow. I mean, we spend 15 to 30 minutes every morning. We do a morning meeting. And so we'll go over the jobs from yesterday, take time to be thankful for stuff. So we start out, we take 2 minutes stretching, open with thankfulness.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about each day?
Each day, every day.
Okay. Everybody comes in. What time does everybody show up?
So everybody comes in as far as production, 7 o'clock.
Okay. And when's this stretching happen? I've never heard of that before.
So we start at 7 o'clock, and we rotate who runs the meeting. So I run the meeting on Tuesdays on Tuesdays we do an hour later, and our sales team joins us. So, but at 7 o'clock in the morning, all of our production's there. So our installers, our guys that are working in the shop, and myself are there, and we rotate who does it. So we'll do 2 minutes of stretching. That's because
you're lifting cabinets and stuff. You got to get your body ready.
It does a couple of things. So we got to. That's how the Japanese do it. I've been to Japan twice on study missions, and so they'll spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes of stretching because, hey, we're getting ready to do heavy work, and so we stretch. I found that the stretching's beneficial. I'm going to tell you, we're probably pretty marginal at our stretching. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 4. But it gives us a start time, and it gives us 2 minutes to just kind of relax and get focused on work. The guy running the meeting will do thankfulness and shout outs. So if we got somebody that's done something great at the company, or what's going on in your life that you got to be thankful for.
Wow.
And then we'll go over, we'll do some training. We'll do some lean training. What improvements that we've made. I'll have them make our employees regularly. They'll make an improvement to something, and they'll make a short video, 30 seconds to 2 minutes of, hey, this is what the state was before, and this is what I did to improve it. And then we'll go over the previous day's job, if there were any issues on that, what we can do to improve on that. We use standard operating procedures, so we have a written document. We use an app called Gemba Docs, and it allows us to build 6 to 8 picture, 1 page how to do something. And so we'll review that. Like we have one when we're backing our big garage trailer in. We have a document on how to back that in so that we can train anybody on it. Mm-hmm. So this is what the standard is. And so we'll go over those, and we'll go over what's going on for the day, and then we'll break and roll. The plan is to spend 30 to 40 minutes after that cleaning up and making improvements. It doesn't always happen because we're regularly behind, but
do you guys do a safety meeting? We're in construction too, like our concrete company, and they have, it's almost like a requirement, but for workers' comp and things like that, let's do a safety meeting.
Yeah, we do that once a month, once a week, I think, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Do the compliance thing.
The compliance guy gives us a manual, and we go over a topic that doesn't apply to us, and everybody signs off on it, but we're compliant.
I hear you.
But yeah, the meeting's good because it brings everybody together and gets us on the same page, and we can group think how to solve problems and make things better. And so a lot of improvements come. Your employees are the people that are doing the job. And so they know, fix what bugs you. What's bugging you? What's your struggle that you have when you're doing? How can you overcome this struggle? And so, my guys have got ladders that have got tool holders on it and magnets and things like that. All stuff that so when they're working, that they don't have to get off the ladder. Or just makes their work easier.
I want to go back to the products a little bit. So obviously garage cabinets, I'm super excited about those because I see my garage cabinets, first thing when I get home and, put my keys away and everything. It's really organized. But you mentioned wall beds. We don't have a wall bed. I can imagine that. What are you seeing in terms of trends or I'm thinking like demographic shifts cause kids to stay at home longer and maybe houses to be more full? Are you seeing things like that?
Yeah. So When I first started in the business, all I did was closet organizers. They were available in any color you wanted as long as it was white. And we had this little cheap plastic handle on it, and drawers were one size. The industry's progressed in what they're looking for, what people are looking for. We now offer, like, I think we've got 80 colors that we can do.
Okay, 80 colors you can do cabinets and
cabinets and finishes. And
high gloss red, or because you can make it look like anything you want.
Anything you want, and the accessories have come along. I just was at a show, and there was just a bunch of stuff out there for organizers within the drawer, simulated leather. There was one product booth that they had coat hangers that were $400 hangers.
Wow.
Too rich for my blood.
Yeah, I don't even have a $400 pair of pants.
Yeah. But so that's elevated. And then the first thing we added was garage cabinets. And that's been about 20 years ago. And then I had a friend in the business, and he said, if you're not doing wall beds, you're an idiot. And I said, well, I don't want to be an idiot, so tell me about it. Yeah. And we started doing beds, and then we'd tie them into home office. We kind of picked up on a few design cues. And back east, like New York and stuff, you got a studio apartment. There's a lot of use for that. Here in California, like your house, you have no need for a wall bed.
Yeah, we have a 2-bedroom, and the second bedroom's kind of extra.
You got the space, and you don't need it. Where we do a lot of them, so Sun City, Lincoln, and Lincoln Hills, Roseville, new one, Esplanade. These 55 and over communities, they're based around a house that's, for the most part, 1,700 to 2,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-3 bath. And so is what the wall bed allows you to do is it allows you to have company 6 nights a year and have them sleep on a nice real mattress that's not on the floor, that doesn't leak air.
How comfortable are the wall beds? Are they as comfortable as like a regular bed?
Yep. They
you get the mattress and all that stuff too?
Yeah, I've got a deal with the sleep shop in Auburn, and they bring me a mattress. We got a pillow top mattress that we sell for $429. I probably wouldn't want to sleep on that mattress every night myself, but if you're coming to stay at my house, I don't want you to be too comfortable. So after about 4 nights, you're like, hey, I'm ready to roll. But it's a real mattress. You can put any mattress on it up to 12 inches thick.
And then these things are like almost flush to the wall.
So they come out, we're 16 inches off the wall, 65 and a half inches wide, and 90 inches tall for a queen size bed. And so what it does is it takes your guest room and frees it up to be a whatever you want it to be room 355 nights a year.
I can imagine people especially with the work from home movement that's happening. Everybody's working from home. Well, let's take that bedroom and turn it into an office. Well, sometimes you need the bedroom. So I'm an empty nester. We're in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house, and both of the extra bedrooms have wall beds in them. And so one, I've got my exercise bike in it. I've got a wall bed with a mirror on it. And the other one, I've just got a plain one. My kids come, the beds come down, and they can use them. When they're not there, I can go exercise in one room and have my office in the other room. Yeah. That's perfect.
So it's a great solution to allow you to do both. And then we can tie it in, like if you're a heavy work from home person, we can put in cabinetry that you've got the desk space. We've got pull-out tables so that you can have a U-shaped workstation and printers and all kinds of.
Are there products? I didn't get any of this from you. I got one of those slat boards. I'm calling it slat wall.
Yep.
Slat wall. And so I hang some of my little contraptions that I use for my workouts on that wall. But are there certain products that would be made for a gym specifically, like gym oriented?
Yeah. I don't see a whole lot of that. Like with the slat wall, the big one that we do, or the hooks and stuff for the garage. There's different systems for home office type stuff. I don't have a whole lot of the ones for the gym. We got one a great one that we've got is that we mount on the slat wall is a bike rack. It allows you to stand your bikes up vertically, but then it rotates and folds, not flat against the wall, but instead of the bike sticking out 4 feet into the room, it can fold towards the wall and come off as little as like 20 inches, so it's a real space saver.
Okay.
Makes it accessible. And then if you don't have a bike in it, the rack folds up and disappears up against the wall.
Oh, that's cool. What about the ceiling stuff in a garage? Like my ceiling, we didn't put any. I guess I got enough crap out of there that we don't need anything for the ceiling. But do people put a lot of stuff like attach it to a higher ceiling?
So there are products for that. They're the hanging racks. They're normally like a 4x8 platform. I'm not a fan of them. One of my 4x8 cabinets can hold the same amount of crap that those ones do, and then my cabinet's accessible, whereas a platform you got to stand on a ladder, or it's got to be down low enough that you're going to smash your head into it when you're walking through the garage. Okay. And
not as practical.
I like the clean look. As opposed to, I just got a bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah, so. I mentioned that, I think, to you when we were doing mine, and you said, don't you want this to look really good? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like, there's a difference between storage and organization and aesthetics. So, people tell me, I need all the space I can get. I'm like, okay, well, we won't put anything in here. You can stack stuff from floor to ceiling. And they're like, well, no, but I want it to be organized. Okay, organization is different than storage space. And so, like for an example, 20-inch deep shelves in your closet don't give you any more space to put shoes on. Because you can't go too deep on it. You can only go one, and so you end up, the same thing in a pantry. People are like, I want really deep shelves in my pantry. It's like, no, you want to be organized. You don't want to, stack 20 cans of Campbell's soup deep. You want it shallower, tighter together, less stuff on a shelf and more shelves.
Yeah, makes sense. I guess I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the Entrepreneurs Organization. We got right here in the photo, I keep this little visor thing that one of our EO members gave me, because I'm always super proud of the fact that I'm in the Entrepreneurs Organization. I served on the board of directors. You were on the board of directors. And there's so many good people in the organization. So I kind of wanted to do, I don't know if I want to call this a promo, but why did you join the Entrepreneurs Organization? Why would you jump up and be a leader? And then now, I think you're off the board now, aren't you?
I'm just finishing.
You're transitioning.
Yeah.
But why step up and do that? And then why continue? What's it doing for you?
So I joined. So the first activity that I came to at EO was actually here in your facility.
Oh, really?
About 4 years ago, and you had two different authors in, or you had one guy. And his business was effing amazing. He was a marketing guy.
Okay.
And there was another guy that had a book, and he talked about being at the Waffle House. And
what?
I can't remember.
I don't even remember what that was. Okay.
Anyway, it was a great event, and I don't know whether it was part of EO, and you had a whole bunch of people here, and there were other business owners, and I was like, this is great being around other business owners. I just enjoy it because we think alike, and we're the only guys that will quit a job because we don't want to work 40 hours a week to run a business and work 80. We're a different mindset. And so I came to that, and then the next, I got invited to another one, and it was a panel with Arik, Ross Haley, and somebody else that had just sold their business.
Okay.
Telling their story.
Super successful people. Yeah, it's interesting because EO's got companies that have 10 employees and companies that have 500 employees. And so there's this interesting mix that can be inspiring.
Yeah. So, yeah, they told their stories, and I remember telling them, I can't remember, he borrowed $200,000 at 20% interest to make payroll, and his investment. Was
that Arik?
That was
sounds
Arik,
like Arik, yeah.
You can invest in me, but you're probably not going to get your money back. That was his money pitch, and then 60 days later, he sold his business for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is really neat. So that's why I joined. I got to admit, I haven't taken advantage of a lot of the learning opportunities on the regional side or even the global side. I've enjoyed the local stuff. And I hopped on the board last year because they needed somebody to do communications. I didn't really know what I was doing. I told Todd, hey, this is what I'll do. And he says, great. And that's what I've done.
You did great. You were making videos. And Aaron's coming back. So there's a guy named Aaron Zambrano who's great. He's great at communications. But you came in and added some flair to it, which was really cool.
I just tried to make it fun. And, as we were talking earlier, I can't type real good, and like doing newsletters isn't my thing, but I do a lot of videos, and it's just natural for me. I was having a conversation with somebody about it the other day, and they're like, "Oh, you must spend hours on that." And I was like, I think this last one I spent about 20 minutes on.
You just use your phone, right?
Just use my phone. They're like, "You shoot that on your phone?" I'm like, "I shoot it on my iPhone. I import it into iMovie. I take some screenshots of the email, edit it together, and add some background music to it, and upload it to YouTube and WhatsApp. And I try to keep it under 3 minutes because nobody listens after that."
So have you if you recruited somebody into EO, and you may have done that, like how do you describe it to people?
That's a good one. It's lots of opportunity to be around other like-minded entrepreneurs. I've picked up a lot of stuff. Some of the first stuff that I learned was just listening to people about investing and what they were doing. And in the past, investing and passive income, that was all stuff that was like, oh yeah, I'll get to that someday. I turned 55 last month, and so like someday's today, brother. You got to get on it. And so in the last couple of years, we had some stuff going on at business with our business with a fire and stuff like that we did all right insurance wise, and I had money to invest. And now from the things that I learned from people in EO, I've turned that into residual income.
Wow, that's cool.
That I would have never. I knew about those things, but in EO I knew people that were actually doing that. You know, Ray Cordano is a big one, and so they motivated me to do that. And just being around other people is like, that's the real benefit to me.
I think for me too, I'm inspired by obviously people who are doing it differently, and so it can be educational in that way, but inspirational in that typically the typical member of EO is very driven, very forward leaning. They want to grow their company. They want to do something important. And, I think that's what entrepreneurship's about. It's not just about replacing your job with another job. We're doing it so that we can create wealth, we can create opportunity for our teammates, and we can do something that's maybe more important than just punching the time clock. And so to be around people that inspire you to try to tap into your own potential, dig into what you might have inside you, that's what does it for me. In my little forum, we're in these groups of like 10 or so on average, 6 to 10 to 12. I think I have 11 people in my small forum. There's 100 in Sacramento total. So think of it as like AA for entrepreneurship. We all get together in these small groups, talk about the highs and lows of our lives, and including business. And then we come away a little bit more fired up or a little more at peace with where we're at.
Yeah. I used to joke with my forum sometime. I'm like, you come in and we're there to talk about the top 5% and the bottom 5% of our life. And sometimes we'd go around the room and we talk about stuff, and I'm like, you know what? You guys have motivated. I'm thankful for the problems that I've got. I'm glad I'm not dealing with what you're dealing with. It makes you realize that, and they probably don't want the problems that I have. It's kind of one of those things, but you realize that the other people are going through, 90% of business owners are going through struggles of some kind every day. And, a lot of times you can't talk about that stuff with your employees. You can't talk about, your wins or your struggles and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like, it's hard to celebrate sometimes on that. And so it's nice to have other people that you can bounce stuff off of and talk about and celebrate that kind of stuff.
Yeah. People, they use the word, it being vulnerable, where you share the 5% that you wouldn't talk about maybe with your wife or your employees or, your spouse. Maybe it just, God, I need someone just to confide in, and you kind of have that because it's super confidential, and everybody lives by this, oath of confidentiality. So it's really cool. Okay. What did I not ask you? I've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time, but I want to make sure we cover whatever you want to cover.
So I was in, this is, I don't know, probably 2008, 2010. I'm in a business meeting, and the guy that's running the thing, he's like, who started their business with like less than $1 million? And I was like, and then it was like down to 100, and it went down, and I was the last guy standing. I'm like, I started this business with nothing. So
Less than $100.
Less than $100. So I moved from Utah to California in 1997, and we were broke. Like literally, we were broke. And I told you earlier, I'd had a couple of jobs but I needed to do something. Okay, I need to take care of myself. That was kind of my thing. My self-reliance thing was, and at that time, I had people that were going to church with that were working for Hewlett Packard and stuff like that were getting laid off. And I'm like, I could go get a good job, and tomorrow I could not have a good job. Like that's what I saw happen. I said, I'm done with relying on other people to take care of me. At the time, I didn't have a truck or a van. I didn't have any money. I called the guy in Utah that I had previously bought parts from, and I said, "Hey, will you give me 30 days on parts?" And he said, "Yep." I went to my neighbor, Ed Haymore, Lincoln Auto Body, and I said, "Hey, I don't have a truck. Can I borrow your truck every now and then?" And he said, "Yep." And we did the previous year I was doing something, and I did the home show in January at Cal Expo, and I knew that it was a big show. I'd done home shows before, and so I took my rent money that was due in February and paid for the home show booth in the end of January, and figured that I could sell enough to cover rent. And so I went and I did that show. It wasn't the greatest looking booth that you've ever seen, and I sold jobs. I called up and I ordered stuff from my friend in Utah, and I figured out how much it was going to be to ship it and what gas was. And so I took my friend's borrowed truck and I drove back and forth. I drove out to Utah and back, and I did that for 9 months. That was so when you say, well, how much money did you, and from that, I cash flowed everything from that day forward.
That is an incredible story.
So that's my.
The people that sit there and go, what if it doesn't work? Hey man, it can work if you are, put yourself out there.
I didn't have any other options. Like it was like I had to sell to. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it pays for a lot of crap that causes unhappiness. Mm-hmm. And my wife didn't like eating cereal without milk, that kind of stuff. And so I was highly motivated. And so I got to, before I would drive out to Utah, I'd stay the night at a friend's house or family's house, and then I'd drive back the next day. And I'm like, that takes too long. So I'd leave at 4 a.m. I would drive straight through, load up at about 2, 3, and turn around and drive back. I could get to about Fernley before I couldn't see straight anymore, and I'd sleep in the cab of the truck and then come home and get home about 6 and go to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what entrepreneurship is all about. Just, you got to just figure it out.
Figure it out.
I love it. Well, Derrek, thanks for the cabinets, for that $1,000 back. But thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for being an EO brother, and thanks for everything.
Having me. I appreciate it, and it's a good time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching today's show. My goal for every episode is that you find a takeaway, something tangible you can use in your business today. And if you have a comment about a favorite takeaway, feel free to put it in the box below. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to bring up on the show, don't forget to let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship. Because at Haney Biz, we are always by your side.